And actually, currency collapse or hyperinflation is the only thing that can save us from this authoritarian Babylonian system that they want to introduce of registering all your assets, keeping track of everything you have, even the air you breathe. Yes, they're doing that through this climate change net zero agenda. Wednesday, July 24th, 2024, Maneco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Well, today I'm going to warn you about not just the EU, but the ECB, the Federal Reserve, BlackRock, JP Morgan, all the big banks, the central banks. They're desperate and they want to come after your assets. And I got a warning from someone who follows me on X about a EU asset registry that they want to come up with, and we're going to talk about that today. But before we do, just wanted to thank all the new subscribers that are coming on board. It's nice to see the subscriber count grow, and the rate of growth has increased of late, and hopefully I'll keep creating good content to keep you coming back. And also, if you're listening to me for the first time, that you will decide to subscribe. And if you want to help the channel as well, there are different ways that you can do that. And you can check them out below in the description of all my videos. So before we go into the topic of the safety of your assets, I just wanted to quote Benjamin Franklin. This is what he said a couple of centuries ago or so. They who can give up essential liberty to obtain a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. What's that got to do with the central banks, the EU, and definitely the UK as well? They're going to follow the EU. Even Switzerland, they're going to get involved. What's that got to do with security and liberty and Benjamin Franklin? Well, the bureaucrats in the EU and anyone involved in central banking, in government, with the big corporations like BlackRock, their excuse for an asset registry, or what Larry Fink calls tokenization. He says tokenization is the future of the next generation. Well, that's being used as the excuse being used for that is to keep your assets safe, to keep bad actors from accumulating assets, i.e. those people who how can I say, I'm trying not to use the word that starts with a T. Those people who use violence and mayhem to scare people. You get what I mean? Yeah, that's to keep those people, the drug dealers and the money launderers, from having assets. But if you really think about it, why don't they focus just on catching these bad actors? They are a tiny proportion of the whole population. Why throw a whole net of protection over the population that is mostly law-abiding, hardworking, and decent? Well, because they want to control you. And the other thing, and we're going to link it up to the central banks. The central banks in the last couple of decades, especially since 2008, they've been doing something called QE, which is basically printing reserves or bank money out of thin air in order to manipulate interest rates lower. And why have they done that? Well, because The same people, the bankers, Wall Street, the politicians, they acted irresponsibly by building a huge, or it's still a huge, everything bubble. That's really started in '87 with Greenspan and his puts. But then you had the real estate, well, the dot-com bubble. You had the real estate bubble, the subprime. And all along, you've also had this derivatives bubble that's still growing, that nobody really knows how much there is in outstanding bets or notional amounts. Some people think it goes into the quadrillions, which is 1,000 trillion. So when everything imploded in '08, they told us, oh, don't worry, it won't cost anything. We'll just print trillions and trillions out of thin air. And they did it again in 2020. And yeah, we'll just, eventually we'll just sell off those assets that we bought to keep interest rates low, and everything will be fine. The balance sheets of the central bank will go lower. There will be no inflation. But they were lying to you, and that's why I never bought into it, and that's why I've been warning people about currency collapse. And actually, currency collapse or hyperinflation is the only thing that can save us from this authoritarian Babylonian system that they want to introduce of registering all your assets, keeping track of everything you have. Even the air you breathe, yes, they're doing that through this climate change, net zero agenda. It's really horrific. And yeah, and my hope is that the system implodes and they can't get this through. So, and why would they want to have access to our assets? Well, because their balance sheets are in a precarious state. And why is that? Well, because the flip side of QE is that it costs. And with interest rates having risen so much, all the assets that they bought are underwater. And you can see here, central banks, they're making huge losses, not just the Fed, the Bank of England, but also we've seen the ECB makes its first loss since 2004 due to higher interest costs. And a few years ago, well, not a few years ago, but last year in October, there was even an article in the FT bailing out central banks, the QE program hangover. And here in the UK as well, the losses of the Bank of England are being covered by us, the taxpayer. And even in the US, it will be covered by the general public through inflation, through the debt, through taxation. And what do you do then in such a situation? Well, one thing, as I said, my hope is that the whole system implodes. And that's why I think you need to have some assets outside the financial system, the whole system. And that's why I've been talking about physical gold and silver. And talking about also the security of your assets before all this comes into fruition, because I think they want to push this fairly quickly in the next year or two. You still have a chance to try to hide some of your assets. It's a strange thing to say, because I thought 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, I wouldn't need to say this, that we live in a civilized Western society that respects private property, but we don't anymore. And that's why I've affiliated myself with DirtyManSafe.com, and you should check them out. It's hidden protection, instant access. And a lot of my viewers have bought the Dirty Man Safe, and they're very happy with it. And you can keep whatever you want in there. You can keep your gold, your silver, some of your gold or silver. I'm not saying you should put everything in there. You can keep your cryptocurrency hard wallet if you're into that. You can keep documents, you can keep whatever is valuable to you, and all you have to do to get a hold of it is click on the link below in the description. You get a 10% off when you use that link, and you also get a special gift from the Dirty Men Safe. So yeah, think about that. That's a small way to protect your assets, but I think it's a good way. Anyway, back to what we can do, what else we can do to protect ourselves, our assets. It's very hard, I have to say, because these people are determined to bring this about. And I think in the US, it's been done more in a roundabout way. It's been done more through the corporatist slant, like with BlackRock and JP Morgan. We've heard rumors that President Trump, who's running for president, of course, again, is thinking of nominating Jamie Dimon as the Secretary of the Treasury, or even maybe Larry Fink. But he's denied that. It just came out yesterday, and it's here in Forbes magazine. Trump denies considering JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon or BlackRock's Larry Fink for a Treasury Secretary. One thing that Forbes says, though, is that Trump himself fueled the rumors about Dimon, telling Bloomberg in an interview last month he was somebody that he would consider for Treasury Secretary. So be careful out there, I would say. And even if Trump doesn't fill his cabinet with swamp members or Wall Street banksters, we need to be careful of the fact that Trump is aligning himself with people like Peter Thiel, who founded a company that is basically a CIA instrument of collecting data, analyzing data for the government. It's called Palantir. So yeah, it's a very difficult subject, I would say, and do your research. Don't believe everything you hear, and make sure you ask questions. I think that's the other important thing we need to keep doing. And as I said earlier, Larry Fink is big into tokenization, and tokenization is the same thing that the EU and the ECB and the Fed are looking to do. Register everything so they can have ready access to all your assets, not just to collateralize their losses, which has got to do with the great taking, but also to tax you, to make sure that they can keep control of the whole system. And one way to fight this is to talk to people who you think represent you. And here I don't have much hope, the politicians, right? Because the people who get to the top are always like funded by the people that want to register all your assets. And I'm not knocking President Trump or former President Trump here, but have you noticed that the whole of Wall Street now is pro-Trump? Which is a little bit suspicious in my opinion. Will that really make America great again? Will that help the bottom 90% of Americans who own almost nothing these days? I'm not too sure. I could be wrong, and maybe they've seen the light, and they're gonna, yeah, help you. But I wouldn't hold my breath. So, yeah. I think the other important thing that we can do to help people realize how dangerous this is to talk to people about it, especially younger people, because it's the young people who are going to be the future. And if we leave them a world where everything is like surveilled, we have a, kind of a Babylonian system, what kind of world will that be? Not a very nice world. One book I would recommend, not just for young people, but for you as well, if you're middle-aged or older, is this one here, The Law by Frederick Bastiat. And the classic blueprint for a just society. I think this little book will help a lot of people understand what's going on and what we really need as a solution. One of the main reasons for this book being such a great book, in my opinion, is that the author is known to have said the following: "The state is that great fiction by which everyone tries to live at the expense of everyone else." So what we've got now is the state and the big corporations working together for their own benefit, not yours. Yeah, of course, they say they want to help you. They want to secure your assets. They want to get rid of money launderers, drug dealers, and people that start with T. I'm not going to say the word. But don't be fooled. So that's what's going on. Before we wrap up, let's quickly look at where the markets are this morning. It's 10 past 8 a.m. London time. We've got spot gold trading at 24.16. It's up $7. The high's been 24.19 and the low has been 0.4. Silver is at 29.27. It's up 4 cents. The high's been 38 and the low's been 0.5. The stock market is down across the board. The Dow is down 125 points, or 1/3%. The NASDAQ 100 futures down 186, or about 1%. And I think Tesla had bad results. That's what's probably driving the market lower. S&P 500 is down 2/3, or 32 points. The currencies are all pretty much lower versus the dollar, with the exception of the yen. The yen has strengthened quite a bit in the last few days. It looks like the Bank of Japan has kind of gotten the currency under control for now with intervention. Crude oil is up 1/3. WTI at 77.13. Brent as well up 1/3 at 80.50. And we're continuing to see high-grade copper come off. It's almost back to $4. It's down 1/3%. Probably on the back of a weaker Chinese economy. So in terms of economic statistics that I think are worth keeping an eye on, we need to wait till tomorrow for GDP for the US. It's the advanced data for the second quarter GDP, and it's expected to be revised down from 3.1% to 2.6%. Keep an eye on that. If the revision is even lower than 2.6, we could see gold and silver rally quite strongly. And why is that? Well, because it will mean that the Fed will probably cut very soon. Maybe not next week on the 31st, but most probably in September, and it could even be by 50 basis points, which might actually rattle the financial markets, because people might think, wow, things are not as good as they are. The Fed's cutting by 50 basis points. So keep an eye on that revision tomorrow. It's coming out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, or 1:30 p.m. London time. And with that, I'm going to wish you all a very good day. Take care. Bye.